Hey, good evening. Thank you so much for a wonderful time. First question: do you guys use Headspace? Because I could follow your schedule, but I couldn't really hear the app. Second, especially for you, Rich, you said something about like the first 18, 20 months were very interesting for you because there was a lot of creativity. So, as an entrepreneur from the outside, I would look at you guys and know, like, hey, I'm envious. Like, these guys would have joy as one of the ingredients while taking the business all along. But is that the case? If that's not the case, how do you bring back the joy to the curve? Because that's something that I think is the essence of what you're doing.
Great questions. First thing is I use Headspace, so that wasn't. It'd be a bit weird if he used it.
I don't. It's my voice. So that would be like the most narcissistic act ever. And it would just be odd to listen to myself. I have no, yeah. So I tend to sit in silence, having done some meditation in the past.
But yes, I use it and we use it at work. I think the joy question is a really interesting one and one that we talk about a lot. I think we have this phrase like another day at Headspace, which is where this just crazy stuff happens and you're like, I can't believe that this has happened. And I think that, incredible stuff that you kind of only in your wildest dreams would you imagine that these things could happen, and they happen to us. They happen a lot, and I think we always remind each other of those things and kind of laugh in a kind of quite light way about it. It's kind of crazy. I think at the same time that I feel that I'm more of a person. I don't know how Andy feels, but personally I feel more of as a creative person than as a business person. And there is so much more creative freedom when there are no rules and no structure in a business. You can really try anything and you can go at a pace that you want to go at without having to bring too many people along with you. When you have 300 people, it's a very different set of skills. And so do I enjoy that bit as much as the other? It's not as fun, I would say, as that. And so that's the distinction that I would bring in it. I think at the same time you get an enjoyment level, you get the reward in a very different way. So it's the scale of things that you can impact and the conversations that you have at this scale of business that you were never getting in the early days, which is kind of amazing. Even the fact that we're here in India, like this could not happen when it was 3 people and we were just coming up with crazy ideas to get the business going. So it's just you have to kind of change your reward mechanism in a way. But the pure joy of creation, I think, is very different in the early days to how it is in the latter stages, I would say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think also, I like, as Rich said, like we're not business, but like we are the most accidental entrepreneurs ever. Like we didn't set out really to create this in this way, it kind of just happened. So I think, I don't know, for me at least, I went through a phase where when we were scaling really quickly, and I mean, we went from like 50 people to 150 in 8 months. And when you're scaling at that speed, I mean, it's quite hard to just walk around and kind of, this is kind of nice. I actually asked my assistant at the time. I said every morning when I come in, can you ask the customer support team just to put their favorite letter, email on my desk in the morning, and like for me that was a way of reconnecting with, because it's weird as it gets bigger. That idea of improving the health and happiness of the world, you could think about it just in terms of pure numbers, and easily forget like the individual. And for me, it doesn't matter whether it changes the life of an individual or many. Like, it's the same thing. So kind of reading those in the morning, that was a sense for me of like bringing joy back into my life, being reminded of a personal story and like how Headspace had impacted that person's life or their family life. And some days they were funny. And some days they would make me cry. Most days they would make me cry because the stories are extraordinary. I can't think of another job where you would come in the morning and kind of read, and the crying is not because it like sadness, but like a joy, like it's a beautiful thing, kind of that people are. And I would have never. I don't mind saying that when I left the monastery, if someone had told me that somebody could get that much benefit out of 10 minutes a day, I'm not sure I would have believed them. I knew the value of meditation, but I didn't know that it could have that much impact in that shorter period of time each day, like 10 minutes a day or something. And so I think for me, that's been a continuing sort of sense of joy, just knowing that it's making a difference in that way. I'm sure it's the same for Rich as well.